Well, welcome to Part B, Episode 5 with Anthony Petrie. You mentioned the Baileys, you mentioned Damo. Often young kids, and you're going to be really humble here, so I probably won't get the right answer. Often young kids are good at more than one sport. Were you ever a chance of trying to pursue league or cricket? How good did you get at league?
No, I had a year off. Like I went back.
You did. You had a year off
20.
basketball.
Yep, and went
Played
back Gunnery
for.
Bulls in the
Okay.
Canberra Raiders Cup, like Group A.
Yeah.
And played first grade down there, and then made the Monero squad, which is like making the Illawarra squad or whatever. But no, I would say no.
No.
Like it will coincide with that time when I was still playing cricket in the Commonwealth Cup in Canberra. Like a series you could play, all the first grade teams and colours on, and played that right up to the first year before I went pro with basketball, and then went off and had the year of rugby league, and then that coincided with turning down, going to the AES for basketball a few things. And I went home one day and Dad said, "Oh, we better go down the shed." And I tell this story to the boys here at TCS. I said, "What do you think?" He took me to the shed to have a chat. You get different answers. But I said, "Boys, that's why we've got men's sheds." I was like, men aren't good at talking. So when Dad says, "Go and grab me this, go get me that," and you start working with your hands, you start to talk. And that's when Dad told me one day, he said, "You're good at everything, but great at nothing." I was like, I was 21. He swore between the eyes. I was like, wow. He said, "Mate, since you were this big, all you said you wanted to do was play professional sport. You never said which one." And he said, "I think it's go time if you want to do it."
Yeah.
He said, "What's it going to be?" So yes, you don't have to answer me now.
Yeah.
And then I sat back and went, because I'd given athletics away. I went and did a qualified jump in Canberra for the senior circuit stuff. And I went home that night and put my spikes back in. And I said, no. Done. And I was starting to fill out a little bit too much to get to those elite levels. I think I was jumping 212 or whatever it was at like 17, but it was not like I was starting to, and I wasn't super flexible. Just so that was kind of done. I did love my cricket. That's the only time Dad was ever disappointed when I said I was going to stop playing cricket. Only time. Ever I'd seen him go a bit like, because that's his favourite sport.
Right, he loves it.
Yeah, loves it. But yeah, then I sort of went, that's actually right. So that was when then I made a decision to basketball's it. Yeah.
Amazing. I was just about to say
People
that.
feel like, well, it's done.
I know exactly what you're about to say.
Dream's over.
I thought, how good that your dad had that conversation at 21, because most parents, mums and dads, are having that conversation at 15.
Yeah.
Choose now. And they fail at 16 and I've got to go do something else. But at 21, you're just finding your feet, you're physically filled out. Before we talk then professional basketball, because that's where we're going, talk me through the Petrie's backyard cricket. It must have been one hell of a setup. That's on the record. So was it like a world 11? Was it just peach first peach?
No way. We were just, this is the part where I think the imagination has gone out of kids when they play sport.
Who was the wicket keeper? You must have had a gate as the wicket keeper.
We had the trampoline.
There you go,
We had to, because we had to have the carrot. I'll get to that in a minute. We would play rugby league, and Damo would commentate as we're playing. Like, we would play basketball, and we called it the rat pit, because the snake pit was the Illawarra Hawks ground. So we named our barn the rat pit, and we would start 72 all, Sydney Kings versus Melbourne Tigers, first to 112. And we're playing as the people.
His baskets are getting 4.
Yeah, but honestly, it wasn't too bad of a basketball. The cricket, we ended up, because sometimes it wouldn't lift. Yeah. We actually had, this sounds crazy, we had a proper turf wicket in our backyard.
Of course you did. Not full length? Shorter?
It was 3/4 of that one at our original place in Deepwater, full. Yeah. But Dad used to curate the pitch in town. That was my job in year 11 and year 12. He used to curate the turf deck. That's how
you emulated that in the backyard.
Well, sometimes I look out here out at the grounds team and
you want to go give them pointers?
Yep. I'm going to pitch you, actually. 3 days teaching, 2 days grounds team. But look, I loved it. And my best mate with me, he was an opening bat. I was opening bowler, middle order, so I want a bit of green.
You want the green, he wants it.
But no, cricket, so we had to put all these things in place. Football, the base of the stumps. So roll, mully grub, you couldn't be out, right?
Wow.
Because he would snick it and say, like, hit the grass. Yeah. Well, things like that. Like, dude, absolutely, like, you've got no idea.
Like grass makes the same noise as wood.
We would set up a tournament, World Cup.
Yeah.
And we
taped ball, proper ball?
No, we actually, our primary school had these orange balls. So they were like, not as hard as a cricket ball.
Yeah, indoor cricket almost. Yeah.
Like a plasticky feel, but beautiful. Hit you in the legs, hurt.
Yeah, right.
But did enough.
And did it have a stitch?
Like, it had a little seam on it, but not hard, more like a coated plastic one. We had heaps of them. So they were the I found a backyard cricket ball better than that.
How good is that?
We might have borrowed them.
Just online. Still there. Still in a bucket.
Still got them. But yeah, so we would do the World Cup. We'd write down batting orders. And if it was like, I love the West Indies. So if I'm batting, and I'm Brian Lara.
I was going to say, who are you? Yeah, of
We
course.
had to.
You have that button undone.
And the West Indies at that time were full of left-handers, and I love Lara so much that I would wig out.
Oh, the Prince. Oh.
So we used to go back for back, kind of. So if you open, get out, then use your turn.
Yeah, okay, rotate.
The worst day of my life when I fully lost that aim was we went, right, I'll do a full test match. Start Monday afternoon, go to Friday.
You're the Windies,
Australia. I bowled at him for 2 afternoons.
Of course you did. No one got
Finally got him out. My turn to bat. Turns around, looks at me and says, I've been thinking, my back's sore.
stitch.
I won't go into details. So things like that, just, but I reckon we nearly played more backyard cricket maybe than any of the others. We played a lot of, that's hard to say though. Yeah. But then Mum would call us in. We had these weird church clothes. I don't know where Mum got them from, but they were all these pastel colours. So strange. Lime green. So if you're Pakistan, we put it on.
You put it on?
Oh, we had these canary yellow.
That's unbelievable.
We had a pale blue England back then. So we'd actually wear it. And Mum never said a thing. Grass stains all over them. She'd soak them in the bucket. Never went, stop changing clothes. Stop getting grass. Never. We just come inside. And we had the old twin cup. We used to wash it because we're on temp. And then get it out. Never. So, yeah, we played probably more backyard cricket. But then Dad went and got us one of the little autograph bats. Yeah. So then he'd roll the squash ball around. And we had cork tiles in our family room. We put a pillow onto our knee. Yep. Get a bit of space. Play finger cricket. Unbelievable. And knock it around all night inside the house. That could be the best description of backyard cricket I've ever heard. Who was your brother when he scored all those runs? Was he AB? Yeah, he used to pre-AB. He used to lock in. Our favourite, I think, guy to watch was Mark Moore. Off the pads, Gloria. Just beautiful. Steve. Anchor cat. Got it done. Yeah, got the job done. Gritty. Mark. Beautiful. Michael Slater, Tubby Taylor, going down the list. But he was, but we play all different teams. We just have to be whoever. But he was, I think the thing that frustrated me was, my brother was such a beautiful bat. He was playing rep cricket on Tenterfield, men's team at 14. Setting him out, mate, against these teams. They got people playing for Australian country cricket. No lid on back then. That's a 14-year-old kid. It's unbelievable, isn't it? GM just standing there. It's almost negligence, isn't it? Makes you watch the ball, though. Yeah, and that was kind of it. So I think that's what frustrated me. Yeah. I started out as a league. Did you? Yeah, I was absolutely mesmerised by it. The zinc. Loved it. Yeah. Started playing men's cricket in Tenterfield. You'd wait, right? You'd turn up and go, I hope such and such. Yeah. And I'm going to go field at fine league to fine league all day. How good's this? It's the best. And then I came into Tenterfield on what, turf wickets or synthos? Yeah, 2 turf wickets in town. 2 turf wickets in town. Shirley, saw more ants bed, hard to get looked best. That was the one we used to look after. Feddo was an immaculate ground. We've actually used to play day-night cricket on both grounds. Lights on both grounds. Yeah. And then in juniors, our opening bowler was away, and that's where it started. They threw him the ball and said, "Will you open?" Started. Jeff Thompson to the max. I was a slinger. Love it. Sweet sleeper. I was going to say, did you ever? Slung the ball. Not a beautiful action. Yeah. It just went in and just dropped it down and just slung. I was going to say, you must have dressed up DK Lilly. You must have undone the buttons, sweatband, just the appeal. You would have had a down pat. Honestly, it was recreating what we see. It was the imagination to think we're actually out there. It sounds crazy to say it now, but my son Will is 9. And I've noticed when he's got 3 older sisters, one's away, one's about to, so a bit of a gap in age. So he's doing I'm Steph Curry. Yeah, nice. So I actually love it. No, so of course I can buy in his dad. Yeah, of course. So I've got to be someone. And crush his soul. So you're going to take it. I don't know, but that backyard sport in unstructured play is critical for them. Yeah. I really hope parents and kids listen to this, Peach, because what I was going to say after your description of that and watching you, I know it's hard on a podcast, but to see your non-verbals and just the way you talked about it, the message for the kids and the parents listening to this is play lots of different sports and create the imagination in cricket or soccer or whatever it is you love, because you've learnt in cricket skills. You learnt jumping over a bar in high jump. You learnt the toughness of rugby league, spatial awareness, defence, all those things set you up as a 21-year-old now who's ready to launch, because the fitness and the skill for every single thing you've talked about up to this point is completely different to then go into a very confined space with 10 enormous human beings on a court
5 on your team, 5 on the other, we land at a point where you say, I think I'm going to have a crack at basketball. So with all that great upbringing, you said there's no wealth, but that was just irrelevant because you were so rich in so many ways. I was going to make a joke before and say, thank God the Strait of Hamas was open back then because your parents couldn't afford to drive you to Newcastle now. No way.
No, we had 415,000 Ks.
And they bought it brand new.
Yep.
Wow.
For me and Cotters in 1988.
No way. 415,000 Ks.
And they drove up.
Never complain.
What is this?
This thing said sliced bread.
Hell, sport hanging out the bottom. Oh, mate, we thought we'd made it.
Parked over the the wicket setup. Wow. 415,000 Ks. And all that time to sit in a car, no mobile phones, nothing, just chatting.
Car cricket, condensation, drops down the window, who'd win.
Yep.
All that stuff.
So then that leads me into a great question I was going to ask later. Not great question, a question I'm intrigued to hear the answer to. They call it in New Zealand the third half. So first half of rugby, second half of rugby, the third half's the car ride home. How were mum and dad, or it sounds like dad more so taking it, how was dad in the third half coming back from tournaments, from games, did you debrief? Was it silence? Depends on the outcome, depends on the sport.
Yeah, I mean, we call it now, and talk openly with my boys here, car coaching. And it is critical to a child's development. What you do give, what you don't give. Dad was only if ever he thought it wasn't about the right effort or energy that was conducive to helping our team. Then we'd hear about it. But if I had a bad game, I think as a parent, and I've got to be honest here, of my emotional intelligence as a 9-year-old through to 17 was so out of whack.
Yeah.
Competitive spirit to win.
Right.
That if you asked anyone in Tenterfield, they'd say I had a terrible attitude.
Yeah.
100%. And I would own that. I don't ever remember Dad pulling me up on it too much because he was worried, he said, that it would burn
the candle out.
What was in.
Yeah.
And it's hard to find kids that have already got the engine started.
Yeah.
But if I did it in a way that took away, then he told me one time, he said, you don't make anyone better.
Yeah.
Oh, that hurt.
You've talked about that. So the background to that is you at the state champs basketball.
Yeah, I was just playing one day and I lost it.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have been playing well. So it's everyone else's fault, right? It's the referees, it's the coach, it's everyone. It's not my fault. Couldn't be. How could it be? And then he must have seen that day and just went, and he told me that, and that turned around when we had that moment with my high school basketball team when we made it all the way through to Boston Sports High. And that was pivotal in that moment. But I used to come out from cricket as like a 13-year-old and get out, and I'd hear, Dad had this spinning whistle, and I'd just look, as in, you don't think about throwing that back. So, but no, honestly, my parents, like at 21, let me figure it out. Nearly like hippie in a way, as in they were there, but never got in the way. Never got. I go to sport now with my own kids, and I just see so much helicopter parenting. And like, imagine sometimes if we went big gates up outside of your TSS, and you just dropped your kid off, and your kid just went in, and they just played sport. What would it look like? I don't know. But some parents do a phenomenal job. Yeah. And it is tricky because at the end of the day, it's a parent's passion for their child and they just want the best for them. Yeah. That's it. And it's just finding that balance. And I have been through it myself now multiple times with my own children.
There's a lot of lessons in that, a lot of information. And
I know. Yeah. Probably didn't.
It's important. No, you did.
Yeah,
a couple of things to touch on. One is your dad's comment was around him saying you are the best player on the court, but what are you doing to make anyone else better? And you had no response whatsoever.
He had nothing. He's
changed the way you play.
Fear, mate.
Yeah.
They're scared of making a mistake.
And that was not you with a bad attitude. That was just your hunger to win and your desire.
Yeah, why would you drop that?
But then you take it upon yourself. And I think Michael Jordan even fell into that trap early on of just needing to be that guy. And then he learned, I need players around me to create avenues. Yeah. The next part of that is parents, the car coaching is difficult when a parent's not had any involvement in that sport. So I guess it's not really what advice have you got for them, but basketball is definitely your sport. But in other sports, when a parent has had no involvement yet, they are desperate for their kid to do well. Your advice for them in the car, is it keep it positive? Is it just to steer clear? Is it just let them make their mistakes?
I loved watching you play today.
Yeah.
Loved it. I loved watching you play. And I've gotten better at that. I've got some things wrong with Jess, I feel like, my eldest.
Eldest daughter, yeah.
Yeah, who's nearly 21. Same with Ems a little bit, who's nearly 19. Holly just played the state champs.
Yeah.
I love watching you play And that is the part about sport. I don't know why sport is the only avenue where people are unqualified to give qualified opinions.
Yes.
It is such a weird concept to me.
It's so weird.
Like there's so many areas in my life that I know nothing about. I am not saying anything about it because I actually know nothing about it.
Yeah.
Yes, you can see if your child, their attitude was off. Right? Our kids, energy and effort. Energy, effort.
Yeah.
What were they like?
Yeah.
Do you think they were good? All right. If they play terrible, you reckon they honestly want to go out there and play?
Yeah, no one walks on the court. I can't wait to have a shot.
Oh, they're already beating themselves.
And you know you've had a bad game.
Oh,
So don't make it any
knows.
worse.
You don't want to kick it.
Yeah.
Yes, there's things you hold them to. Absolutely. Non-negotiables.
Yeah.
If they want to truly, when they figure out they want to be good at it, but let them fall in love with just playing the game.
Yeah. Why they started in the first place is
That's what
loving
they
the
do the
game.
whole way.
Yeah.
Even if you go and do it as a pro, it is the love of doing it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's no point.
Yeah. It's funny when I talk to the first 11 at the start of each season, I ask the captain if their first 50 or their first 100, or if they're a bowler, your first 5, they talk me through that, and just seeing the eyes light up. And it's often when they're 10, they do well their whole career. Scored my first ton versus, whatever, out in the bush or at Surface Paradise. I say, bottle that and just go and be that guy. Absolutely. Just go and play that with the same love. Although, the stakes are a bit higher, you're still playing the same game, same rules. Play with love and play with a smile on your face, and geez, you start to become pretty dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely.
We talked about parents and your kids, and we jumped around a bit, but we could talk all day, by the way, and I don't want to hold you forever because that's 45 minutes in. We'll try to cap this at an hour. You've big career. You end up playing 280 odd NBL games, not perfect either, a couple of different clubs, but you came to the game late, so you retired very late. How did you manage your body for so long as a professional athlete? Yeah, well, we laugh about bush miles. Bush miles are different on kids. By the time you get to 18, you got miles on the clock because you're multi-sport and just life in general. Always laugh. The thing I took from Dad was, and it's interesting now when I read the research and the studies about when to introduce weights in children. Yes, you've talked about this before. Dad didn't touch it. Yeah. No way. Even at 21? No, then, but when I was in high school all the way through, don't get it. No. So what age was it rugby league that first introduced S&C to you, not basketball? Yeah, when I was I went down into Canberra and was playing. Yeah. But a little bit, but one that year, Andy McGovern came back out of the Raiders and I was like, he's on the Raiders bananas from the way. I was like, I remember dying. But he was just like, my old man was like, you let your body be what your body is. Had to be fit. That was Dad's non-negotiable. That's one thing you'll never be beaten on is fitness. How could you possibly be good at sport if you're not fit? How could you be thinking in crucial moments, 38 minutes deep in a basketball game, 2 to go, if your lungs are thinking that, as opposed to what are our last 3 possessions, what's the score, what plays? Can't do it. Yeah. Can't do it. So his was fitness. And then I had to learn later. I probably got to the point where I was probably doing too much, pushing my body too far. Yeah. And then through my career, I had a lot of injuries and a lot of big ones, a lot of surgeries. I had right shoulder done, AC joint. All basketball related? Yeah. The shoulder came from footy, then came back later. Injury, knee done 3 times, ruptured my left Achilles. To be fair, you're only 17 playing A grade, so there's a chance your shoulders are going to be back. Shoulders like a brown snake in the first place. I was see-through. So, ruptured Achilles, both ankles. No. So I think in a lot of surgeries and a lot of couple of big 12-month ones. Yeah. The microfracture in the knee and the ruptured Achilles, they were huge because they came at pivotal times. I think in my professional career, I felt like I was ready to go again. So to play then I learned what my body was. So at my size, one of the things that actually worked against me was how I actually moved. So because I moved, this sounds terrible talking about myself, but because I moved well at my size, it actually put a lot of pressure on joint. What was going through me. So then it was about just figuring out how that worked best. To finally, I was proud in the end to fight through some of those. Some of them told me a couple of times that would be probably stumps, and you push out another 4 or 5 years. And it comes back to I rehabbed as hard as how much I missed playing the game. I loved it. Yeah. I loved it. I knew I wasn't done. So, I did push it out for 12 years, pro career, but in amongst that, it's a challenge. I tell everyone all the time, everyone's like, I want to be a professional sportsman. Yeah. Get a ticket. Yes. The line goes from here to Tenterfield. It does. And people realise how hard it is and how monotonous it is. Sounds terrible. Game night is amazing. Yes.
But to get to those points every week it's really hard.
It's only 2 hours a week. The rest of it's
Well, it's a dog eat dog work.
it is
Dog eat dog work. Like every single day you walk through the door, and you've got to think about workplaces. What workplaces are like that?
Yeah.
You are judged from the time you open your car door until you go home.
Yeah.
And then they judge you again when you come. That's just on repeat every day.
And then the 2 hours you're on the court that's on steroids, especially with social media.
Like you leave training, Pete, you lost 2 kilos today of sweat, 1.5 of litres of water. You better come back the next day and do your urine test. It better be clear.
Yeah.
You better have the weight back on just from that.
Yeah.
Like just from that part. When you start your day, you certainly have looked after yourself in those 12 hours, so you're less risk of tearing a muscle or not dehydrated.
Yeah. Wow.
You know, like it just never stops. Yeah. They video your training session. They break down video before you start. Game. You just kind of like, you're just in this environment of like being assessed every day.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's normal, but that's what it is.
It's almost a bit artificial though. There's not many environments in the world that are just that intense of feedback because there is a tipping point too of just too much, right? It's balance.
By analysis.
Exactly.
That's the art.
And then you are really overthinking, well,
absolutely.
I've got to do this and that and that. So amongst all of that though, what's it like to get picked to play for our country?
I mean, that was in amongst that. I had a couple of opportunities in World Cup squads and Olympic squads. And then when I felt like I was at my very best, that's when the Achilles leg came. And then come back, a couple more ankle surgeries. I hadn't given up. I hadn't given up on the dream, but I was like, I've really just got to go back here and just play for Adelaide 36ers and just really enjoy the process of just every day. Because that's all it taught me was I was like, this is pretty fleeting when you get a couple of big injuries. Yeah, and then just sort of had a really good year professionally. And then that led to got picked in it was like a B team, Australian team to play in China. And that in itself was still, it doesn't matter what team it is. But when I was called to go play for Australia, I was like, wow. And we went and played China, 2 games in Australia, 2 over there. Then out of that, they picked a squad of 16, and that was when all the big dogs came back.
The big dogs. Paddy Mills in that group?
Got that because we had to play New Zealand. We had to play New Zealand. It was only a 2-game series to qualify for the World Cup.
Was The Rock playing for New Zealand at the time?
No, he was done by Anthony Petrie.
All right, a big unit. That's the most intimidating haka I've ever seen is him leading a basketball haka.
Strongest player I've ever played against, but
no way. On the court?
Not even close.
Couldn't budge him.
Cannot even think of anyone remotely.
Pretty athletic for a big guy too.
Beautiful. So I got called into that, and they play in the Asia Cup now to qualify for the World Cup.
Yes.
There's more chance, more leverage. Like in New Zealand, are very talented basketball. So you have 2 games. You have to win. Australia's not going to the World Cup. Yeah.
How did you go against New Zealand?
We beat them 2-0. But that was when I went into that camp and I thought, ooh, talk about going up pay grades. I was like, okay, Pat Mills rolls in. John Ingles rolls in. Matthew Dellavedova rolls in. Ben Simmons, 18 years old, first ever Australian in that camp. Dante
straight out of school. NBA? Had he signed in the NBA then?
No, not at all. And you could see them, though.
So this is taking Peach back to the 11-year-old, walking into the squad of 17-year-olds. You're just going, holy.
Yeah, I was like, just something I was like, wow. And went through that camp in Canberra. Brutal. I remember the soles of my feet felt like they honestly had come off. I don't think I've ever tried so hard. And I think it's just the requirement physically that is the level and that is the pace of play. That is the athleticism. That is the IQ. I think it was a 4-day camp and I was done.
So you get to play for Australia. First game's in New Zealand. Family's not there.
No, so unfortunately they couldn't make it across, but then our second game was in Canberra. And for me, that was like a full circle moment where I actually moved to Canberra to go to uni. And that's where I met my wife. She is a Canberra girl through and through. So to come back there and be in the Palace, where the old Canberra Cannons used to play, and to walk out on that floor and just I think when I put my singlet on that night and seen Petrie across the back, as I pulled it on, it meant a lot to me because my whole family were going to be there to watch me with my wife and my kids. And then when we went out onto the floor, once the Australian anthem started to play across the speakers, and it still like gives me goosebumps now, I just looked into the stands and just to see my family there and the pride that I had in wearing that singlet, sort of I felt like on their behalf for everything that they'd done for me. And then especially Sarah, like Sarah was miles in front of me with her basketball career, having played professionally with the Canberra Capitals. Obviously we'd had Jess Young, and Sarah just basically is, I don't know, like the most selfless person, because from that point on when I made a decision to want to become a full-time professional, she basically laid down everything
in her journey, in her life, is I think for me, when taking such great pride in it and know they were there, is my girls, when they always get a photo taken in those junior Australian teams, they turn back on and they point with their thumbs to the name Petrie. And that makes me really proud, I think, more so for Sarah, that she can see that as well.
Well, that's it for part B. Let's roll the tape on part C.